Hey guys, I'm finally back. I just finished my final exams and I have some time to implement a new idea which our editor Rupesh has pitched, which is going to be one company analysis possibly per week, which we're going to deep dive into the history of the company, the numericals, try to figure out the things which an investor should be looking for in those companies. And we're possibly going to pick up certain companies which you guys have been asking for quite a while. So don't think that we haven't been reading your comments. We have been reading a lot of your comments, and we do plan to pick up some of the companies that you have been asking for. And there will be some companies which we ourselves are interested in, which we want to do an analysis on and share with you guys. And it's going to be a good learning experience for me and my team. And I hope it's going to be valuable to you guys, the audience. And we're going to try and put out a company analysis per week, and we'd love your feedback on it. And if you do have any suggestions, you can leave them in the comments below. Again, I thank you for your patience and your support for this series, and not only this series, but for our channels. Thank you once again.
Good evening and welcome back to Be Rich. I was here and so Vinod commandeered me and put me next to him. And he wants to discuss his favorite stock
My favorite stock. Well,
because he
it's
opened.
it's the backbone
Why
of our
is-
government, man.
why is it-
Forget my favorite stock. Our government functioning on a day-to-day basis is because of this stock. And the results were supposed to be spectacular. I mean, what was
Wait.
published?
This is where Vinod's dad opened his first account for him.
Yeah,
So he is in love with this.
of course.
But he doesn't buy
I'm just
this.
trying to be very sarcastic here.
He
I don't
doesn't-
even own one stock of this guy.
He doesn't even want one stock. We are talking about State Bank of India.
Yeah,
And so the results were extraordinary results.
yes. They had fabulous results. Kind of results any other bank would envy
Hmm.
and would be happy even if they had half of this kind of an average.
Hmm.
Last year was 9,150 crores. This
Hmm.
year, net profit is 16,850 crores.
That means there is an 80% growth.
Yes, I mean, this is like in this current economy, in a K-shaped recovery, in the global macroeconomic conditions, and with all this fiasco in the microfinance sector, and all this gadbada in RBI interest rate and dollar, this bank has broken away like a unicorn and it's gone. Tatak, 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 tatak.
Yeah,
And
but you
we
don't-
are applauding the great efforts of the State Bank of
India.
India.
But the stock price is saying something else. Why?
That's because you guys don't believe in it.
No. But
Fairy tales are fairy tales.
what it shows is you have not read the balance sheet report properly. The net profit for this year is 16,850 crores. But last year, the profit was only 9,150 crores. You should immediately go back and look at the annexures. Why was it 9,150 crores? You will find out the actual profit was 16,250 crores or 16,300 crores. Actually, what had happened is they had made provisions for 7,100 crores to be paid to employees for pension shortfall and wage revisions that is going to come.
No.
So they had made provisions. So the operating profit was 16,100 crores.
So growth was in those spectacular.
So you had grown by 200 crores over 1 year. Year on year, your growth in profits is only 200 crores. Then there is another problem. This 16,800 crores we have managed because Madam asked us to manage this. And what did Madam ask us to do? Or indirectly, not directly, you have to make profits.
That's not a bad thing, man.
Yes, but how do you make profits? Taking cheaper deposits, you lend more. But that was not happening. So we came up with a brilliant plan. We will reduce employee cost. Because most employees in State Bank of India, if you go to a branch, who is asking credit card, sir? Sir, do you want insurance, sir? He is a contract employee. So that employee cost has been check. And people who retired, you replace them with contract employees. So you do a lot of slicing. So you have 17% reduction in employee cost.
So all this money they're showing is just from cost reduction.
Cost reduction by kicking out employee salaries. Now this is what you are doing. And now look at the funny side. That's why the stock is down. From the peak of 952, it went down as low as 650, I think.
694.
694. And now it's around about 733. And it is going down. What I am trying to tell you is, imagine a guy who put money into this about 6 months back in September, and he would have lost a lot of money. In fact, somebody put out a big tweet saying technology transformation is taking place and public sector banks are doing extraordinarily well. And so a lot of people invested based on that. In those 6 months, all public sector mutual funds are down 20%. This is the biggest fund of them all. Is down 20% from the peak. This is why I say avoid all the public sector units. Madam made a speech recently in budget where she said Mudra loan, MSME loan, this loan, that loan. The guy who has to give all that loan is SBI. So,
Well, it's the government's bank.
It is the government's bank, but it's no more the
Yeah, but
government.
the flip side of it is the bank is very safe.
Yeah, but this is not the government. It's not government's bank. 50% is owned by you and me, no, general public.
The government has allowed public to also participate in the wealth of the nation.
This is not showing any wealth, no. Other banks are showing better wealth. So what I'm trying to say is, this banks, public sector banks, are run as per the whims and fancies of politicians of all sides. Irrespective of who is in power, it is run as per the whims and fancies of politicians. Therefore, please do not touch public sector stocks. You will hurt very badly. Not just badly, extremely badly, and you will have a lot of pain. So avoid this. And today morning was very important. The RBI announced its monetary policy. The sane and correct policy would have been for Reserve Bank to say we will pause. That is, we will neither increase nor decrease. But after 5 years, the RBI decided to decrease rates by 0.25. When inflation is at 5.4 and food inflation is at 8%. And also you are going to, your rupee, ever since the new governor has come, the rupee has fallen by 4%. So that means it's going to have an effect in inflation. And already food prices are 8.5%, 9%. And a lot of people are losing jobs. Like I know now, you play in Madras alone, 600 mid-level jobs have been lost in the last 5 months. Till 2 fields, 600 people have lost their jobs. And today, you must know what happened in a great man's company. The great man gave us advice about a couple of months back how hard you should work for the nation, and you should work for 70 hours a week. And there were a lot of people who criticized him correctly, and a lot of people who defended this correctly. Now, why did I bring this up? The great man ran a company called Infosys. He is still a 4% stakeholder. He is the founder chairman emeritus. So what did they do? They gave 700 kids joining a campus offer. They made them wait for 2.5 years. Right? And after 2.5 years, they asked them to come to the campus. So they turned up at the campus saying that they are all getting to work. They gave him 3 tests where nobody can pass. And those 3 tests, everybody failed. They were all summoned into a hall. And they were locked from outside. They were bouncers. They were supposed to leave their phones outside. And it was announced to that you were no longer needed. You failed in 3 tests. You are expected to go home. There is no compensation, no salary, nothing. Please get out. And the bouncers take you out of the campus and leave you outside. And he expects you to work for 70 hours a week, and he is talking about working for India. Now, this is not the problem. What I'm trying to say is there's a huge problem in India. Companies are not recruiting. Companies which have already given job offers are not honoring those job offers. Even where there's an honoring of job offers, this is what is happening. And a lot of jobs are being lost. And if you don't fix this, the economy is going to go worse. Now, because he cut rates, what are the repercussions? Like I said in a tweet in the morning, the market will immediately fall. It has fallen. Today, the rupee fall has been stemmed by RBI selling dollars, but the rupee is also slated to fall. Looks like by March 31st, 88 will be taken. What was my year-end target will be taken by March. And the fresh talk for the year-end is between 90 and 95, with 95 looking more likely. So with the rupee at 95, gold, that means at 8 to 10% fall. And that means most of what we import will become costlier and exports will be cheaper. But the problem is we import mostly from China,
Hmm.
who has cleverly, because of tariff, has allowed his yuan to fall further.
Correct.
So he is going to sell you stuff.
Correct.
We will end up importing more from China, exporting less because of the problems in America. And this is a real mess. So a bad situation has been made worse by this late rate cut. This is what I want to tell you. So those who are following Vinod are very comfortable.
Anand, hello. Don't give me credit.
We have been long in IT for a couple of years. You have got profited. You have been long gold. You have been long gold stocks. And you have been long gold financing stocks. And we have got some undervalued stocks. Stay put. As prices correct, add 1, 2, be steady, and watch the fun.
Okay. Now can I ask you some dumb questions?
Yes, you can.
These are dumb questions, so don't get annoyed. We are learners, right?
Yes.
We are not gurus like you. One argument to be said by guys who are looking back at hindsight, they would say if we take State Bank of India, what we spoke about, and we look at last 5 years, the only bank that has beaten State Bank in 5 years return would be ICICI. IndusInd is nowhere. Last 5 years, it's in negative returns. And HDFC is hardly given 40% in the last 5 years.
Yeah, but
One second.
Yeah.
Because it's how layman analyze. Okay. We are not seasoned. So we're trying to get seasoned. So even if I look long term, 10 years plus, State Bank there loses out. 10 years, it's given only 140%. While ICICI is given more than 300%. So the argument would be, even, yes, there's a government bank, poorly run, everything is true. But because the government seems to be loving this bank so much, are we safe as investors? Explain this alone. Yeah, because they need to understand this. There's a little fundamental thing, because this is how people who are absolutely green like me will think like, hey.
So you have to compare State Bank of India to two banks in the private sector to your size. One is ICICI Bank and one is HDFC Bank. About a couple of years ago, HDFC Bank had a major accident. So if you look before the accident, HDFC Bank would have beaten
State Bank of
India by a huge margin. What was the accident? Deepak Parekh made sure that Puri will be sacked and HDFC Bank will merge. HDFC was in serious trouble and it was in threat of going down under. So they had to merge it.
Correct.
Okay, this is one. In ICICI, round about 5 years ago, the stock price cratered.
Yes.
Yes, it
exactly cratered. Yes.
Yeah, because finally it was proved that the then CEO and chairman was corrupt.
Yes.
The BN Harikrishna Commission made sure that she would be forced to quit.
Yes.
She went to jail and the case is going on.
Yes.
She favored some friends and did some corrupt deals.
Yes. Videocon.
So, and then this is accusation, not yet proven.
Not unproven, yes.
But she's been charged.
Yes.
And therefore, a new MD had come. He cleaned up the bank and built it up. So, that is the blip. As far as IndusInd Bank is concerned, it is minus 20% because of one reason only. The revival of IndusInd Bank was buying of SKS Micro. The problems in SKS Micro, that is now known as Bharat Financial Inclusion, is subsidiary, is in the last 1 year. If I take out the last year 1 year record, then IndusInd will comfortably beat a...
Yes.
So you have to look at three major things that happened.
Correct.
And those three major events proved to be good buying points at that.
Correct. So this is what you guys should keep in mind. See, just looking at data without the analysis behind it, it's useless. Because if you're just looking at numbers, then what happens is exactly like this headline showed you, you'll fall victim to it. You'll be like 80% profit, what are you saying? This when you look at it and you peel it and you read between the lines, as they say, read the leaves, you understand. So even if you are new to this and you suddenly pull out the chart and you say, Vinod, if I look at it, like see the returns, this is what happens. And this is what Anand clearly explains.
And the IndusInd would have given you the best results.
Yeah.
Because twice it got into serious trouble. At the time of COVID, when Yes Bank went under, rumor mill said that this was the bank going next under.
Yeah.
It dropped to 250.
Incredible buying opportunity.
It was an incredible opportunity about 3 years.
Thanks to my brother, I was incredibly fortunate to invest.
So that was the time.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that Hindujas are going bankrupt.
Yeah.
So you jump in at that time.
Correct.
So these are, if you look at data points, you should look at 2 normal periods.
Yes.
And you should see that the value of your stock has diluted because the government has kept on pumping money into SBI.
Correct.
SBI also badly needs money. If you look at the CRR CET ratio, these banks will beat HDFC.
It's like
the problem in SBI is because of their quasi guarantee, they have raised funds in bonds outside India and they have raised it as infra bonds.
yes.
Because they have raised it as infra bonds, because you don't have to provide for CRR SLR. So they have raised those bonds. These are borrowings. The guy who bought it treats it as equity. You treat it as debt.
Yes.
And most of it is foreign. And therefore you have to repay money in dollars.
yes.
And this dollar has gone from 70 to 83.
Yes.
You can just Google SBI infra bonds and
Yes.
see how many bonds were issued.
Correct.
All that is not shown up here.
Correct. So if you see it, how government is helping SBI, it's like me racing Hussein Bolt. He starts in the 100 meters dash beginning. I am 1 meter away from the finish line. And we say, on your mark, set, go. And I'm like, I beat Hussein Bolt. So it's literally like that. So keep this in mind. So what is the flip side of this is, so if all things were fair, ICICI, HDFC, IndusInd would have thrashed this in terms of 10-year returns. That means there are some pockets of opportunities here and there which you should pay attention to and deep dive and see where these opportunities come. So that's why Anand says look at price to book, these kind of other metrics, and study a little bit more and not go on headlines and just on 1-2 numbers here and there, and try to understand this a little more.
And please do not trade.
Yes.
Please do not do options.
Yes.
Please do not do futures.
Yes.
I don't encourage you to trade. I don't encourage you to do derivatives. Learn. That is the most important.
Correct. We'll take it to the point of saying if you see someone else doing it, please ask them refrain from doing it. I can say that much. It's like smoking. You see someone smoking, you say, please don't smoke. Do you know what it does to you? Same way, if you see someone trading, especially if they have no knowledge of what they're doing, please go warn them saying, do you know what you're doing?
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this show. I did enjoy talking with Vinod.
I always do.
He did comedy at me.
Thanks for watching, Be Rich, guys. As always, it was fun talking to you. I love having my brother with me. I do try and bring him in whenever I can. Today, he was recording some other videos, so I pulled him in. I'll try and do this more. It's a lovely treat to have him here. Conversation is a lot more sprightly and it gets us going. 20 minutes, half an hour, even an hour goes off without me even realizing the clock is ticking. So anyway, have a wonderful weekend ahead. Do be safe out there as you enjoy your evenings. I see a lot of scary stories, so please be careful, especially younglings out there. See you tomorrow with another one. Anand will be traveling here and there, but I'll be here back in the studio to give you some more news. Thank you.
Hey guys, that my uncles VinodSrinivasan, AnandSrinivasan and I have rolled out our Substack, which is basically a blog/newsletter where we're going to post our original research onto it, and we've analyzed macroeconomic trends. And a lot of you know my uncle Anand Srinivasan and I regularly write for The Hindu, and these articles are also going to be made available for you in the Substack. The link is moatinvesting.substack.com. You'll find it in the description and in the video right now. We hope you go check it out. We've put a lot of time and effort into it. And please give us comments and feedback on what you read. Thank you.